Hi guys, welcome back to our channel, the number one place for people who love design, art and all things creative. I'm Jacqueline and I'm an interior architect and designer here at D&B. In today's video, I want to talk about how innovative green design can change the world. This video was actually suggested by one of our lovely subscribers, so thank you so much. Now, here on YouTube, there are so many cool interior design and architecture videos, but in all honesty, there's not that many on sustainable architecture or design for the future. So if you're an architect or designer wanting to make a positive impact on the world and want to know how, let's jump into the video. Are we designing sustainably if we throw trees onto rooftops? No. Are we when we throw a living wall onto an interior? No. Although these things certainly create a cleaner and healthier environment, we can't just rely on biophilic design practices. Green architecture or green interior design is where conscious efforts have been made in order to make the final built result eco-friendly. Which, let's face it, is common knowledge by now. But if everyone knows what it is, then why are most buildings on the planet still not eco-friendly? I think it's safe to say that as a design community, for the past 50 years, we've been focused on creating the most beautiful buildings that enhance the user's experience. In fact, we've been so busy designing these types of buildings that we've forgotten what effects they may have in the future. Why? Because it was only until the millennium, or even in the 2010s, that people woke up and realized that climate change was very real, and unfortunately, we're starting to see the effects of it firsthand. When past architects were designing buildings in the 80s, I'm pretty sure their number one priority was getting a Pritzker Prize or designing the most modern building, or even just simply to enhance the user's experience. With all the new technology and materials coming out at the time, their focus was on how to adapt to this new emerging tech. Rather than thinking about the future of tech in design, let alone innovative designs for the future. Which, if you think about it, makes complete sense. Now that we are seriously witnessing the destruction of the planet, it's only now that we realise the importance of designing ecologically. In fact, to challenge me, if you know of any sustainably focused interior design project or building, leave me a comment below because honestly I would love to be wrong about this. Then the 2000s come and architects and designers are starting to realise the importance of green design and starting to understand their new job role. And projects like Beddington Zero were born as a result. Yeah. Now, I'm not going to sit here and all over the BedZ project, even if it's not the most beautiful housing development, because it was one of the first complexes to emit zero carbon emissions and one of the first of its kind. But yeah, at the same time, the houses are kind of unattractive, let's face it. So now it's clear that we need to focus on creating buildings that are not only sustainable, but also nice looking. We no longer have to view sustainability as a painful moral obligation, and instead, sustainability should be thought of as a design challenge aimed at actually improving our environment and our living conditions, whether that's in a social, economic, or green way. This concept actually has a name, which is hedonistic sustainability, and I have a whole chunk of another video that I've done on this topic, and I've linked that for you guys at the end. Now, you don't need me to tell you guys the threats we face around climate change and what our future generations are going to face. We've all seen how the effects of global warming is affecting us around the world. In particular, approximately 50% of global energy consumption is connected one way or another to buildings and the construction industry. But the point I'm trying to highlight here is whatever design job you're in, we all have a duty to society and our great-grandchildren to provide them with eco-friendly, sustainable buildings. We can no longer ignore and act like designing modern, alluring buildings is enough. If you've managed to listen to me ramble on up until this point, you're probably thinking, yeah, I know it's all doom and gloom. You don't need to remind me that the world is basically ending. So I'm here to give you 8 different techniques we can use to create interior design and architecture for the future. One way is by implementing renewable energy sources into projects. Because if we're all honest, we have to do this at some point anyway. This is a project diagram I made a while ago for a large building in France. The aim here was to make sure that the building was 100% self-sufficient and sustainable. If every home and commercial building had a similar system to this, there would be zero carbon emissions, ultimately lowering the amount of greenhouse gases. So we need to think of ways of incorporating fully functioning, sustainable systems into everyday designs. Second on my list of innovative green design methods is by including biophilic design into projects. Like I said before, we can't just simply rely on living walls to save the planet. But on the whole, by planting more green spaces onto and within our buildings, it does lower carbon footprints within dense urban centres. Biophilic design is also proven to improve patient recovery times in hospitals, reduce crime rates in residential areas, increase learning ability and test results in schools, and improve productivity for employees in offices, which I think is pretty amazing. My next method is sustainable urban planning. I think a huge problem we have at the moment is that architects, urban planners, and interior designers don't mix or talk enough about different projects with one another. Urban planners are people who are literally designing our cities, and as far as I'm concerned at the moment, they're the ones who are implementing the greenest aspects into our landscapes. There's a very famous urban planner called Jan Gehl, and he created this book, How to Study Public Life, which I highly recommend, and it talks about how to create sustainable cities. Not just by simply chucking green spaces and parks into a city, but other sustainable factors such as the social aspects, urbanisation, pedestrian access, the weather, sensory experiences, sightseeing, noise pollution, and all the rest. My point is, if urban planners are the ones who are really implementing eco-friendly change into our cities, then we can learn a lot from them. We often treat our professions as completely separate entities from one another, but at the end of the day, we can create much more cohesive and innovative schemes if we work together. So whether you're an architect or interior designer, check out some urban planning projects and books because I find them to be really eye-opening and inspiring. Number 4 on my list is to design through adaptive reuse. Adaptive reuse is a way of designing that just basically means turning a building into something that was different from its previous use. I'm sure you've seen factories converted into housing and warehouses converted into vibrant market halls. You know the drill. It's prevented thousands of buildings' demolition and it's allowed them to become critical components of urban regeneration. Unfortunately, although it seems completely normal to reimagine an old building and maybe modernise it in some way, a lot of the times these warehouses and factories are knocked down. Rather than build a new block of apartments in its place, why don't we just reimagine the building in a new way? Let me know what one of your favourite adaptive reuse projects is down below. Of course, this is concerned more with the architectural side of things, but thinking in terms of interior design, one way to do this is by upcycling. By upcycling old furniture or byproducts, we're able to recycle past furnishings for a new use, thus making the product lifespan infinite. And I find that there can be some really cool design concepts to be made with upcycling too. Believe it or not, building architecture for the future also entails thinking about things other than climate change. 6 years ago, the United Nations put together a list of 17 goals that will transform our world and create an all-round sustainable planet. You can see that from the infograph that only one of them is climate action. In order to create a sustainable society, we need to work at ending hunger, creating gender equality, ending poverty, and the list goes on. It may be hard to think about green design solutions for such big world issues, but it's what we all have to do. And I genuinely believe as architects and interior designers, we can make the world a better place. If you're serious about making a change, start here. Start brainstorming ways that you can design a project that helps sea life or provides quality education for children. Have this image burnt into your brain. Another way when designing a greener planet is by making sure you're selecting eco materials and sustainable lighting choices. 20 years ago, materials were hardly recycled in any way. But now there are thousands of different cool innovative materials that you can use on a project that are 100% green. Same thing with lighting. We now have all the different kinds of bulbs that look like older models but are in fact LEDs, which are much more eco-friendly than any other lighting fixture. As time goes on, even more sustainable recycled materials are coming out, allowing us to create green design solutions. My last method is to follow lots of design communities that promote green design. Some websites that give a lot of new sustainable materials are Transmaterial, Materia, and Kvadrat. And that's obviously all linked down below for you guys. Another website which I love is Inhabitat, which is basically like ArcDaily, but they solely show green design, innovative projects, and projects with emerging technologies, so definitely check that one out. And here on YouTube, go check out Ben over at the Going Green channel because his project is literally dedicated to showcasing green sustainable buildings around the world. And I really wanted to share this quote with you, which is, if you're a designer and you don't wake up every morning with the fundamental belief that through the work you do, you can change the world and you can change people's lives, you're either not working hard enough or not working for the right company. If you're new, then welcome. On this channel, we talk about interior design, architecture, illustration, content creation, and graphic design. So if any of that interests you, make sure to subscribe to see videos just like this one. I hope I gave you guys some solid tips when it comes to creating green design and designing for the future. Please leave me a little plant emoji below so that I know that you enjoyed this video and that you learned something new. And of course, if you like this video, then please give it a big thumbs up, because by doing that, you really do help our channel grow. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!